Hello and welcome to Yo-tas Kitchen. Today I'm going to be making stuffed tomatoes. Now I have 4 of them already gutted, but I have 2 more left, and I'm going to show you how to gut them just in case you haven't done this before. I have my oil warming up, and I am just going to throw in the scallions and the onions. So I'm going to start with the onions first, and again, this is half of a medium onion, and I finely chopped it. So you're going to just let that saute. Now my yaya used to make these, and tomatoes are like my favorite, you know, stuffed when compared to, let's say, eggplant or even pepper, although I do like pepper. That's my second best favorite. But the best taste would be when my yaya would make them and put them in the brick oven. Now that is absolutely fantastic. I don't have a brick oven yet. Maybe one day God will bless me, and as long as it's in the town ordinance that I can have one, I definitely will have one built, because there's nothing that compares to the flavors when you bake something in a brick oven versus, let's say, a regular stove. I'm going to let that cook just a little longer, and then I'm going to add the rice. But while I'm waiting for that, as that's cooking, I wanted to show you the tomatoes. Here are the tomatoes, and you see all the juice that has drained out of them, and that's from the from the salt that I put inside of them, and it's just basically taking out all that excess juice from the tomato. So I'm going to get there soon, but I wanted to just show you how much juice has already drained out of that. Okay, so I am going to add my rice, a cup of long grain white rice. I'm going to saute that in the olive oil just a few minutes, maybe not even a minute, but just to get a little brownness to it. And then I'm going to add the dill and the parsley. Now you can add chicken broth to this, but you don't need to, because you have the juices from the tomato paste, the tomato sauce that you're going to put in, as well as the tomato that I just pureed a little bit. So both of that together should have enough juice for the tomato or for the rice to puff up and cook once you have it in the tomato. Okay, so I am going to add the tomato paste. I'm going to cook it on top of the stove for probably another 5 minutes, and then I'll be back. So I'm going to add the tomato sauce, the 8 ounces of tomato sauce that I have. I'm going to cook it for about 5 more minutes, and then I'll be back and I'll show you what I do next. Thank you for watching. Hello and welcome to Yo-tas Kitchen. I just wanted to show you where in the process I was with the stuffed tomatoes. So I ended up adding that 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, and I also added whatever juice was left that had strained. It wasn't a lot, maybe a quarter of a cup, maybe a little less. And I am just slowly sauteing it because what I want is the rice to be about halfway cooked. Because once I stick it in the oven, you know, that half hour, 45 minutes that I have it in there, I want that to cook. And so I'm helping it along in the process. And I tasted it. The flavors were there except salt. It needed a little more salt than what I had put in there. I don't know if I filmed when I put salt in there a little earlier. So again, a dash of salt, taste it, make sure it's what you want in the salt content. It's better to undersalt and then add than oversalt. But again, you don't want to undersalt it because then the flavors aren't there either. So taste it, whatever you like, that's what works. I'll be back when I'm getting ready to stuff my tomatoes. Hello and welcome to Yo-tas Kitchen. I just wanted to show you the tomatoes. I stuffed them. I don't have much of the rice left. I just have a little more. And I'm going to see if they can fit in the tomatoes. So what I ended up doing is just, once you fill them, just with the spoon, just kind of do this, and it'll fill in all the extra spaces that might exist within the tomato, and then you'll know if you're able to put any more rice in there. You see how this just went down just a little bit, so I might be able to add another tablespoon of rice in there. So I'm going to find the covers for it. I'm going to drizzle it with olive oil, and then I have the oven Okay, so I put the covers on each of the tomatoes, and now I'm just going to drizzle the remainder of the olive oil on each one. And if I need more, I know where the oil is, I'll just get more. But I think that's enough. And then I am just going to put a little salt over them, just to make sure that the outside of the tomato is also salted well enough, because you're going to be eating it too. But anyway, I'm getting ready to stick them in the oven. Again, 375 degrees for 40 minutes. At 40 minutes, I will come back and I will check on their doneness. If they need more, I will leave them in a little more. If they look too dark, I will put a foil on them so they can continue cooking. But I won't know that for another 40 minutes. So I'll be back in 40 minutes and I'll show you what that looks like. Hello and welcome to Yo-tas Kitchen. I wanted to show you my stuffed tomatoes. They look absolutely wonderful. They browned really nicely. I've had them in the oven for about 40 minutes, and this is what they look like. Now, I haven't checked the rice yet. I have to make sure that they're cooked. It's cooked, because if it's not cooked, I have to stick it back in there. Rice is perfect. Perfectly cooked. Taste is great. Add a little salt if you need to, but it's wonderful. I'm going to be back. I'm going to take one of these out and I'm going to cut it in half and show you what it looks like. But again, 375 for 40 minutes, and this is what they come out looking like, and they taste fantastic. So I will be back in 2 seconds. Okay, so welcome back to Yo-tas Kitchen. Here is my stuffed tomato. So you can remove the top if you want. You can eat it also. But I wanted to show you the juice. It dripped out on its own, so you know that there was plenty of juice in there, even though it might not have appeared to be the case when you saw it in the pan before I stuffed the tomatoes. But anyway, here it is. The rice is perfectly done. It's wonderful. You can serve this up with little mezeves, some feta cheese. Eat it together. All of it together will come nicely, and it will taste fantastic. And you just cut right into it. Just going to open it up for you so you can see it. Look at how great that looks. Doesn't that look fantastic? Perfectly cooked. Very nicely done. And again, you can put ground beef if you want in there, but I chose not to. This is vegan, so if you're fasting for Lent, this is perfect. If you don't eat any meat products, this is perfect because there's none in here. Have a great day, Kaliorexi, until the next segment. Yasas from Yo-tas Kitchen. Jerete. Yeah.